Welcome back to DreamHack Winter 2012. It is day 3 of the Logitech CSGO Championship. 40,000 euros on the line, of course, or 300,000 of those Swedish crown things. I don't know what they are. Is it crowns? Krona? I don't know. I'm so naive. Kronor. I'm learning more Swedish as the days go by, but I can't possibly repeat it live on TV, that's for sure. Welcome back, as I said, to day 3. It is the quarterfinals first up this morning. Verygames versus Dynamic will be our first game, and then we'll have the all-Swedish clash between Lemon Dogs and, of course, Absolute Legends. That's coming straight up after the Verygames, if we have time to kind of, finish the first one and jump into the second one. It could be, however, Threat, good morning, by the way, that we have a 3-mapper in this first game because of the way that the maps have been pulled out.
Yeah, I mean, Dynamic pulled off some really good games yesterday, even though I think their team plays, they don't have that good of tactics and team play, but their individual skill is really high.
Yeah, I think we've seen that. That's been a bit of a theme, actually, of this tournament so far, isn't it? We haven't really seen, I mean, NiP have, they put some pretty good team play together yesterday, but in general, we've seen individual brilliance, not only from NiP, but from pretty much every team.
Yeah, I agree. The only teams that really impressed me, like tactics-wise, is Absolute Legends and Mousesports. They seem to have really worked on their strategies. Yeah,
Mousesports were really strong yesterday as well. I mean, they were sort of the surprise of Group A, if you like, because of mainly because of the names in the group. If you put that in a 1.6 context, you wouldn't have given them a hope in hell of beating Fnatic and ESC and even NiP maybe as well. So in Counter-Strike Go, though, they've proved that actually, despite the fact that they've got limited knowledge of the game, their Counter-Strike source has really kind of helped them through, and their strats have been very strong, and Rattlesnake in particular has been good.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean, just showing that a mix of 1.6 and source players seems to be the way to go.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And a mix of Norwegians and Englishmen, it seems, as well, and a Welshman. I'm sorry, James, if you're watching. So this game, the first up this morning, is Verygames, obviously the French champions, second place at ESWC, pretty much everyone's second favourite as far as Counter-Strike Go is concerned. We said the other day, actually, that we've got kind of NiP up here, Verygames here, and then everyone is kind of below the table that you can't see down here. Would you agree with that? Is that pretty much where it is right now?
I don't know, really. What I've seen so far, I actually have been more impressed by Mousesports. But if NIP beat Mousesports, we will not see that game,
no.
I'm afraid. So it's hard to tell.
Yeah, it is hard to tell. So Verygames against Dynamic. The map choice, actually, we're going to start off on Inferno. Now, yesterday we saw that Team Dynamic are actually pretty decent on CT side Inferno. So my feeling, my gut feeling is, and this isn't my head talking, it's my heart talking a little bit, is that if Dynamic win the knives, start CT, get on a bit of a roll, maybe put 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds together, they might end up winning Inferno.
Yeah, and I think they have to manage to win the pistol rounds as well, and Verygames is known for being very good on pistol rounds, so I think it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, but no nuke. There's no nuke in the map pool. It's been eliminated along with Mirage as well, so that leaves us with Train, obviously, as second map, which we know Verygames are good on. But then Dust is the last map, and statistically, that's actually Verygames' worst map in competitive play. So, do you know what? If we do get to a 3 map, this is game on for Team Dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I haven't seen Verygames play Dust 2 that many times, and their best map by far is Nuke, and they won't be able to play it.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's it from us. Myself and Threat will be back a little bit later with some analysis on the game. But now let's throw you over to our commentary team, which is, of course, the wonderful Corey Dunn and the one and only Mr. Lurppis Bad Manner.
Against Team Dynamic here in the quarterfinals. We watched how NIP moved on into the semifinals as well as Mousesports. And here we have Verygames and Team Dynamic. Of course, Verygames has a pretty good history now in Counter-Strike Global Offensive, but the history behind Team Dynamic and Counter-Strike Source is kind of one and the same whenever it comes to terms with Verygames as well.
Yeah, Dynamic were definitely very dominant over in North America. I think they had a couple good placings as ESWCs as well, but obviously no wins in Verygames.
Right.
So we're still a notch above them, but both teams have changed their rosters a little bit. I've been told that Verygames actually weren't that good at CS Source ever since they let go of a couple of their players prior to Copenhagen games earlier this year. And this isn't actually exactly the same dominant lineup they had all the time in Source. And that's kind of the thing with Dynamic too. They changed a couple of their players after losing the North American ESWC qualifiers to Area 51. And now, of course, they have Brax and, Swag and Kiko playing on their team. So Swag has been really impressive.
He's been
so far in the
extremely
tournament.
impressive. Let's go ahead and hop down into the game. We see the knife round that's happening here between Verygames and Team Dynamic. Of course, we'll just try to give you a third-person view, see if they've actually started yet. as we're kind of looking at it. We've already switched sides. The admin
Some
kind of talking to
confusion
them
going
right
over
now
there.
between Verygames. As now they're on the right side, everything's all fixed. Now they're probably gonna have to restart this. But again, you know, watching what Verygames has done throughout this tournament, you know, you'd expect in the past games that they've had that they'd be pretty dominant. But here at this tournament, they haven't been as dominant per se as their first matchup. They of course got through their group 3-0, where they were able to defeat Absolute Legends. They also beat Hawks and 3D Max. That game against 3D Max was kind of a throwaway game. That's where they beat them on Nuke, 16-3.
I might also add, I think 3D Max won the pistol, because I remember the game being 3-3 early on, and then I walked out and I checked the result later on and ended 16-3. So even if they didn't win the pistol, they must have won the rounds right after. So that was a very, very dominant win for Verygames.
And also the matchup there between Verygames and Hawks, your brother's team, was actually a really, really good game. The 16-12 doesn't say much about it. Of course, the Hawks were struggling at certain points, really the rounds that they should have won. I think that was actually the game that was really about the pistols at that point.
Yeah, Verygames managed to win 2 save rounds, so, you know, it all counts, but it's always good for a team when they can win the actual gun rounds, where both teams have full equipment, full gear and guns and everything, because then all you need to do is just take care of the easier rounds to come out on top. Verygames, it look like they haven't been on top form so far in the tournament, but you know, it's often the case with the better teams that it's hard to be 100% there mentally in the group stages, and usually teams getting into it once the playoffs roll around, and for the French team that would be now.
If this is your first time joining us here on day 3, Team Dynamic in their group play, they faced off against InFaculty, where they won that matchup 16-9, and actually was pretty decisively. AZK was on point with his AWP, Swag was hitting his shots with his assault rifles, mainly the M4. And then going into the second matchup against a Nexus, they were down, I believe, 13-2 or 12-3 in the first half, and they found their way all the way back, tying that game up, and they were at game point for a very, very long time.
I could be wrong, but I think they actually had a 15-14 lead at one point, I think.
Let's just go ahead and come back here to in studio real fast for just some moment so we can kind of fix this. All right, so one of the things that we're going to be looking forward to after that matchup between a Nexus and Team Dynamic, they faced off against Lemon Dogs, the BYOC team, and they won that matchup on Inferno 16-4. And at that point, it seemed as if the Lemon Dogs, that the Dynamic was going to have to find some way of getting in there, and it wasn't going to be on their terms. And that actually ended up working out because InFaculty and a Nexus ended up in a tie, so that actually pushed Dynamic through, where they've again, it was a 1-1-1. And how often have we seen in tournaments where a 1-1 they were able to pass on through?
It doesn't happen very often, and I think even more memorable from that group is just the number of ties that happen, because their tie was obviously not even close to the only tie. I think there were like 4 tied matches in that group.
Exactly. So if you look at it, some of the ties in that group was a Nexus and InFaculty, which are the ones that we just now mentioned, Lemon Dogs and InFaculty, also Dynamic and a Nexus, and even in the very first matchup, a Nexus again had three ties in that, so they didn't go home because they didn't lose, or because they didn't win matches, and they didn't lose matches either. They tied every single one, but they got their bang for their buck. They played 90 rounds of Counter-Strike Global Offensive in their group play.
They did go down against both InFaculty and who was their first opponent? Lemon Dogs. Against Lemon Dogs, the Nexus was down 2-13 after the first half, and against InFaculty, they had to claw back, I think, the last 2 game points to bring it back to a tie. So even though they had a lead against Dynamic, in the other 2 games they weren't actually looking all that good. But obviously it sucks for them to go down, especially knowing how much they kind of smack talk InFaculty prior to ESWC, and then they lost against them in Paris, and now InFaculty got him knocked out of the tournament here. So there's definitely some bad blood there.
Give you a quick little roster rundown if you don't know who these guys are. Of course, Verygames has a pretty good history so far here in Counter-Strike Global Offensive. They've got Smiths as well as Nathan, Existence as well as RPK, and Kenny S. Of course, I had mentioned several times over that Kenny S was a very strong player, and he did not start to show himself into the later games in the series. In the earlier games, he really wasn't that prevalent in some of his matchups. Again, Verygames in their first matchup there against Hawks was actually struggling. I take that back. I apologize. Absolute Legends, he really wasn't out there in the open.
Yeah, he didn't have a strong group play, I wouldn't say, but he had a couple big rounds, especially that one highlight that's on Angel TV against Hawks, where he's on top of A and gets 4 quick AK kills.
Right.
One of the deciding rounds of that whole match as well. And right now I was just told from the tournament area that we're waiting for Verygames' huddle to end, and it looks like they're finally back in game, so we can expect this game to go live any second now.
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that we see all the time from Verygames is their huddle. So it looks like they're about to get underway here with the knife round here between Verygames and Team Dynamic. Both teams who have a great history that goes back from Counter-Strike stores here on Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And again, Verygames has been pretty good. I mean, placing second at some of the major tournaments in comparison to NIP.
Yeah, they've fallen short so far at the 2 big tournaments that have taken place in CSGO. And, you know, obviously they want to make the finals once again and meet NIP there and hopefully prove their worthiness this time around. 3rd time's the charm, right?
3rd time's the charm, as we'll see what happens here. Again, for the other side, for Team Dynamic, we have Pex, Adren, AZK, Kiko, and Swag. The 16-year-old Kiko, or 16-year-old Swag, who actually was pretty dominant in his first matchup alongside with AZK for Team Dynamic. As we'll see how this one kind of pans out, you can see that looks like Verygames is going to take this one, and they'll have the chance to select the side. So, as we look at it, how crucial do you think it is to win the knife round on Inferno?
I don't think it's necessarily a big deal on any map. I think more so it depends on the team itself. Like I think we talked about this yesterday briefly as well. I think it's more to do with the mental aspect of certain teams. If a team can cope with being down and then clawing their way back into the game, then there's no problem at all.
I'll have to find out whether it's really Pex's birthday today, because he just mentioned that in chat. Of course, Pex is a really good in-game leader here for a Team Dynamic. And one of the things that we had talked about, too, prior to the tournament altogether is you thought that Swag wasn't being utilized properly before. And I would agree with you in the very beginning of things. But at this tournament, I've really seen them let him loose in terms of just letting him do his thing, and hopefully he will continue to kind of be that superior fragger throughout the game.
Yeah, they have given him some more leash, I think, over here than they did at ESCA, and you know, it's a two-way street. Swag also needs to use that leash. He needs to get kills. If they just send him to do whatever he wants and he doesn't deliver, then that's even worse for the team. So far he has delivered in the first 2 games. The 3rd game, everybody in Dynamic fell short, but we'll see what happens here as we finally get underway in the 3rd quarterfinal.
At the same exact time, also take in consideration, we have Absolute Legends and Lemon Dogs. The 2 BYOC teams are playing right now at the exact same time. We'll make sure we get you updated, but let's go ahead and take a look and see what we've got to be able to start this round. It looks like they're going to be heading over there towards that banana side. Existence able to pick up that first headshot. Great nade coming in, caused a lot of damage to multiple members here. Kenny S is able to pick up one, but finally, it looks like they're able to answer back here as we see that they've moved into the bomb site, but the bomb is actually down right now. You can see how Existence and the rest of his team, Kenny S, is on the flank side. Existence able to pick up one. RPK pushing up with his teammate here with Kenny S as he's right next to the action. Down to 12 HP. He's going to get taken down by Kiko. It's going to be down to a 2-on-2. Adren is way low on health. He's down to 7 HP, and it's going to be down to this 1-on-2 here for Adren.
And that was a little sad for Dynamic. Actually, what ended up happening early on in the round is one of their members got blind and he kept running against the wall because he didn't see where he was running, and that's why he fell so far behind and ended up getting stuck with the bomb. Had he been able to make his way through further in banana when it was blind, they probably would have gotten the bomb down at least in a 3v4, which would have been an okay chance to win. But right now, Adren is just completely outmatched given his health points. If he had more health, there'd be something to work with, but 7 health is just really hard in a situation like this.
As he's going to be able to push back around, RPK going to finish things off there. That was definitely, again, the health was a big factor there, being down to 7 HP. But Verygames will take the first pistol round. Again, like you had mentioned, the bomb carrier getting taken out early down there in the lower banana closer to mid. And so right now, as you can see, Verygames picking up that first round. We'll see how this one kind of works out for Team Dynamic. A couple of the players actually bought armor there in that previous round. And we'll see if that makes an impact on them later on here in the game. Already off the bat, RPK connecting with that HE grenade down inside of mid. He was able to take out Swag. And Existence has got himself an FAMAS, and he's getting under a lot of gunfire. And he's going to get finally taken out there by Adren. It's going to be down to a 1-on-4 now, as Kiko's the last man standing. Another save run coming in here for Team Dynamic. So the first 2 rounds here in this quarterfinals match goes to Verygames.
I guess this is going to add on to my bad manner thread, but that's some of the stuff that I see that's still being done completely wrong in CSGO, where we saw Existence kind of pushing out in Banana all by himself against an eco. That just a move that the only way that makes sense is if you're only chasing frags, and in my opinion, they're trying to win the tournament here. At least I'm hoping so, not pad their own stats.
Right, so they had one teammate that was right in this area, and had another one that was kind of still holding back inside of the banana area. And Existence, he looks like he's going to be holding up there. Let's go and hop on board here with Team Dynamic. They're going to be pushing up here inside the mid. The main objective here is just trying to get that bomb planted. They're able to slide on through. They got one player they need to worry about inside. That's going to be Kenny S. Kenny S just going to work and finishing things off. RPK picking up 1, Nathan as well, but Kenny S picking up 3 in the round, as now the score is going to be 3-0. You can see how he's sitting at 5-0 there for RPK. Nathan at 3-0. And one of the things you have to look at, too, is Existence. He bought a FAMAS in that one of the rounds there. And he still is holding on to that same exact FAMAS there.
Yeah, and the Verygames actually have an okay amount of money saved up, so even if they lose, they will be able to buy next round. We'll see what Dynamic chooses to do here. I know yesterday when I was talking to them in the tournament area after their matches, they said that they don't necessarily plan on playing completely the way they've been playing in the past, because they know how much Verygames like the anti-strat teams.
Pex needs to be on the lookout, because right now they've got 3 members pushing over there towards that banana side right now. 2 inside of the A bomb site. And it's right there. Pex able to spray down one, trying to connect there onto RPK, but Pex goes down. That 3-man push over there towards banana is going to make a real impact here, but AZK is actually inside of mid right now, over there towards the T side mid next to apartments. And see if he might be able to flank back around. They actually allowed a member to kind of push back up inside of mid.
And that was a smart retreat by Verygames. They got their pick. Unfortunately for them, they got traded, but they fell back. They didn't stay pushed down where Dynamic knew they were going to be. They just fell back and forced Dynamic to waste time while retaking that area.
Kiko tossing out a smoke at the exact same time as his teammate tossed down a smoke as well. So there's 2 going on right here. And we'll see how they're going to be able to push up here against Nathan inside of that bomb site. Can he be able to hold his on here for the B side? I think he believe he spotted one there. Now they're going to be able to push over here towards this bomb site.
And NBK is going to see a lot of action right here in a second. As Dynamic takes the site, he deals about 50 damage to Swag, keeps spamming the walls here in construction, and Dynamic are probably going to get the bomb down now.
Bomb's going to be planted here by Adren here inside the bomb site. This course is going to be in a 4v4 action between these 2 teams. Bomb planted. And see how well they're going to be able to hold down this bomb site. Again, AZK had some really strong games here in that group play. And see if he can carry that one over here into the quarterfinals. Spots one, able to take down Smiths. And he's trying to be able to pick up his second. It's going to be down to a 2-on-2. Now down to a 2-on-1. Left up to Nathan. 3 kills coming in there for AZK with that AWP. And that's just a big round coming in there. But again, you have to take in consideration, they traded hand in hand all the way throughout that whole mix there.
And those are some really important, nice shots by AZKs. Exactly the kind of play we saw yesterday. Even in those couple rounds against Lemon Dogs, they were able to win. AZK was playing very well, and he was hitting a lot of op shots, and that's exactly how he started the day as well. And obviously, this is going to be a key round for both teams. Whoever loses this round will not have money to buy on the next round. So this round is effectively worth 2 rounds for either one of the teams.
AZK taking a look over there towards that banana side. Pex also over there to give him some cover fire as well. And they've dropped a smoke over in that region, so both areas are smoked up here for AZK. As he got shot down at 80 HP there.
Smits is actually pushed up into halls in this little room to Kiko's left. we'll see if Dynamic's going to clear that hole or if he might be able to get an early pick here.
You can see Kiko, he's being able to push back through. He's going to get headshotted there by Smith with that M4, and that's going to put things down to a 4-on-5 now.
It looks like Smits is going to be able to fall back and survive. Right now, Dynamic having some issues here. Swag down to 13 health.
You can see Nathan right here in this quick rotate. He's going to fall back over here towards the B-bomb site. Existence inside the site. They've got their 4 members. There's going to be a 4-on-2 over here towards the site. Smith's actually in a pretty good position to be able to rotate quickly as well as go and hop on board here with Team Dynamic as they're going to push here towards the site. Of course, that scope is so loud right now that they know that AZK is over in this area. They're going to go ahead and start to be able to push in here towards the site. Nathan taking a little bit of a damage there in the backside over there towards construction. Wrapping back around. No cover fire. Nice shot there by Swag. Able to take down one. They're going to continue to be able to progress here. He's down to 5 HP. Is going to be Nathan. Bob's going to get plenty here by Swag, but it's going to be a quick rotate here by Verygames. And it's going to be down to Swag and AZK, 2 really strong players, and see if they can hold down this bomb site. Again, AZK in that same spot that he was in before. They've got 2 members heading over here towards that construction area. Swag is having to hold near by the cables, and he's able to take down one. It's now going to be down to a 2-on-1 left up to Nathan, and this is a huge round coming in. Swag picking up 3 there. AZK finishing off the last one, and Team Dynamic putting it at 3-2.
And that was an amazing round by Swag. He was down to 13 health as they were going into that site, and he still managed to get the first entry kill in the bomb site, and then followed that up with 2 headshots as Verygames was trying to retake the site. And of course, AZK also hit a couple of op shots there, so that was huge play by Dynamic, and Verygames is going to have to save now, which should even up the score.
So you had AZK was in the backside. Again, this little crack area was, really works in his favor. And then we also had this area right here is where we had Swag, who was maneuvering back and forth. He can actually hop on this very quickly and wrap around, which is actually gives him a lot of cover fire to work between the two. So let's go and see what's happening so far here in this round. It looks like it's going to be a save round. You see some P250s that have been bought here by Verygames. We've got Kenny S, who's playing a very passive B-bomb site, and we've got a 4-man stack over here. Let's go and take a look here at Kenny S and see where he's at right now. You can see this is why they left him over there in the B-bomb site by himself. He's right here inside of the tree. Let's take a look and see that perspective from the other side here. So this is what we see with that turned off. Yeah, I can't see him either.
He's impossible to see over there.
I can't even see him up close either. Let's see what his perspective looks like. He can see just enough, but the real action is probably going to end up happening over there towards the A-bomb site, hopping on board here with the Drin, as Pex is probably going to try to, he may actually get popped there. Kenny S actually has a fire grenade at the same time, too.
This was a setup that Verygames successfully ran at ESWC on a save route against, I believe it was a Nexus, and they managed to win a save using this setup.
They're going to be able to push back around. Adrin, he's going to get spotted, taken down to 68 HP, and looks like he's going to try to slide on through, but he's going to be completely blind. Existence able to pick up one. AZK kind of exchanging here. Now Nathan inside of pits in a really tough spot to be in as he's going to get taken out. And so this position that Kenny S was in, he had to give it up. And a quick extinguish there coming in as they take him out with the smoke, which also that kind of works in favor of the CTs at the same token, kind of being able to push through there.
It looks like Kenny S is getting boosted. Actually, he's boosting his teammate back on the tree now as he's saving his AK in the back of the B site. And right now, Dynamic doesn't look like they're willing to go chase, which makes sense because they actually don't have a lot of money in the bank. They want to make sure they still have money to buy, even if they were to lose the following round.
You can take a look here for Team Dynamic. You also don't want to give the Team Dynamic any type of extra money to work with there. You've got Kenny S, who's going to hold on to that AK. And so this round is going to go here to Team Dynamic. So the pistol round went to Verygames. Of course, they picked up the next 2 rounds to follow, but then on the gun round, Team Dynamic able to tie it up at 3.
We have a game now.
We have a game, that's for sure. Especially one of the main concerns that I had for Team Dynamic is whether or not they were going to show up to play. Consistency is one of the hardest things for pro competitive players at a medium level, that average level. And I wanted to know whether or not Swag, AZK, and the rest of his team are playing quite well. See, Pex is sitting at 2-5, Adrin at 2-6, but of course their teammates, AZK and Swag, are playing extremely well. That's the second time that I've seen a fire grenade extinguished. But AZK, luckily enough, slides out of there with 1 HP. Because, again, the reason why I mentioned it's lucky enough is because he will still be extremely effective with that AWP being a 4-on-4. And I'm pretty sure that Verygames know that he's low on health, but not that low. Pex is also low on health, sitting at 11 HP.
It's going to be a tough round to convert for Dynamic. They have 2 players who are going to die from just 1 hit from any gun in the game, basically. So they'll have to get some early entry frags.
You can see right now they've already started to be able to rotate. You've got RPK who's moved over there towards the apartments, or towards the CT arches. They have 1 player inside of the apartments here. They're going to go ahead and start to be able to push here inside the site. Leading the charge is going to be Team Dynamic here towards this B bomb, or towards the A bomb site. Flashes going off, see if they might be able to hold something out here. AZK is going to get taken down by Kenny S. Quick little exchange here. Pex is able to pick up 1 with his low health. That's going to be left up to Pex, and he's going to get taken out there by RPK. And Verygames picking up this round. It all started off of those early picks there and causing a lot of damage over there towards that banana side.
And the interesting thing to note is if Adren had hit his shot against Existence, I believe, who was peeking him in banana early on, that would have completely opened up the bomb site. So that single kill basically turned the entire round around, because after that kill, Existence was able to throw a Molotov into banana and stop Dynamic players from coming in to try to kill as well.
This is where we've seen Verygames multiple times, is getting to this point right here. Existence is the one that kind of pushing up into this region, making things happen. Typically, we've been seeing a smoke that also falls in this area as well. See if they can continue to do the same thing. There's that exact smoke that I mentioned. This was also a smoke coming in here from Team Dynamic. So we'll see how this continues here. Let's go and take a look here and see what kind of weaponry we have here. We've got AKs here for Team Dynamic, and AWP in the hands of Adren. Again, they're doing the exact same boost here again. Inside of this tree. So we'll see how effective this is later on in this game. It's probably most likely going to pick up at least 1 kill. But falling from that high of ground is going to be difficult to kind of stay alive after that point. I think it's good for an exchange, maybe even be able to pick up 2, catching them off guard, because you have to change your variance and angle-wise.
Smits is once again pushed up into the hallway in the same room where he managed to kill Kiko from earlier. And if Dynamic don't clear this area here, and if you turn on X-ray, you will actually see how far away Dynamic actually is. So he'll be able to tell that Dynamic is faking at A very easily because he's so pushed up. And it looks like the push is going to come into B here now. Pix didn't even see the guy on top of the tree.
And actually, Adren, I think, is right below, he was right below Kenny S. as, no, I apologize. That was actually Existence who was boosted up there in that spot. It's going to be down to a 2-on-5. As we'll switch over and see exactly where they're at right now. Still kind of working around there. Nice headshot through the wall by AZK just on that corner. And see if he's going to be able to bounce out of there with this AWP, but he's completely blind at this point. And actually only gets to a certain point, and they're going to be able to eliminate him, and that means 0 money coming in here for AZK. So he's still going to be sitting at 950, but his teammates are going to be on the save as well. But wanting to have an AWP later in this first half is going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, that was a big mistake by Kiko there. We kind of missed that on the action, but he was on the flank coming around from middle.
Oh, no.
To where CT spawned, and he completely missed on Kenny. I don't think he connected a single bullet, even though he got to shoot in his back. So that was a big fail by Kiko there. I mean, his team probably wouldn't have won the round because he was so late on it, and he was down to a 2-on-4, I believe. But monetary-wise, it could make a difference as Dynamic forced to save.
It's very interesting to me to see that the style of play for Kiko has changed over the versions of Counter-Strike, especially because before he used to be the one that goes in for the entry frags, and here they've actually have him going for the being a lurker and going on the flank, which I think should actually be swag in some instances. But right now it's going to be already down to a 2-on-4. RPK staying alive. As you can see, we've got Nathan who is spotted, and Pex right there at the very end, and RPK finishing him off. Score 6-3 as we take a look at the money, see where we sit. AZK at 3650. They can go ahead and buy AKs if they want to. Looks like they will be buying here. Switch over here to see exactly what kind of weaponry they've got. It looks like we have a Galil in the hands of AZK and Adren, just so they can have the added benefit to have armor and also a nade set.
That is what is happening now. Of course, Verygames have won 3 straight rounds now after Dynamic tied it up at 3. It is a CT-sided map, so Dynamic don't necessarily need to get 7 to 8 rounds, but they do need to get more, as Kenny S gets an opening frags there in a hallway, and Swag misses a shot on RPK, who is now down to 20 health, gets taken out by Pex, but a trade by Kenny S, and once again looking grim for Dynamic here. AZK a jumping headshot there onto Kenny S, but Smits quickly trades that shot and leaves Adren in a 1-on-3, which is not able to convert. And Dynamic just needs to come up with something new now, don't you think?
I definitely agree with that, because right now, whatever they're trying to do here is not working. 7-3 now in favor of Verygames here over Team Dynamic. But as we take a look, again, this is what we're seeing time and time again. We've got smokes that are being tossed out, one by Verygames. The other one is falling in here by Team Dynamic. And then we're also seeing smokes right here inside of this area as well. Of course, we probably won't see those here in this round because it is a save round, and both teams know that. As you can see, no smokes were tossed out here by, oh, actually, I checked that. There's one being smoked still there by Existence.
And Existence once again boosted on that tree outside of the B bomb site. Verygames really loves that spot up there.
And still, I still don't know whether or not Team Dynamic knows about it, because whenever we had one of the members slide through, they were never spotted. You can see right now there's a call being made, and still nothing has happened yet. Existence did not take advantage of it quick enough to be able to take out the members who are actually inside the site. And now pushing back around, you're going to have this one member still left alive. That one's going to be Nathan, finally getting taken down there. Now it's going to be left up to Swag. Swag picking up 2 kills so far, and finally getting taken down by RPK. Now it's going to be 8-3, a 5-round lead here in favor of the French.
And the game's obviously not still out of reach for Dynamic. I mean, it's a very CT-sided map, at times anyways. And if they can just scramble together maybe 2 or 3 more rounds, I think they're in a good position, assuming they can win the CT pistol round and even that one out.
AZK sitting at 11-8. You've got 2-11 there for Adren. On the other side, RPK sitting at 12-4. And the rest of the team actually being extremely consistent. It is a full team effort here by Verygames. Same exact smoke, as you can see here. Kenny S actually getting taken down by Kiko on the other side of the map. Again, it's just kind of a default how all this is kind of panning out. You can see this is their setup. You've got Pex, AZK working here towards the banana. Swag actually sitting back watching over that apartment area. And so that allows Kiko to have a little bit of comfort knowing that that area is clear. And Adren finally picks up the bomb here with a minute left here in the round. Now you can see how they're on a quick rotate. You've got Smith Z and RPK. RPK probably on the balcony area. As we'll go and switch and see that's exactly where he's at. He's in the balcony. He has his teammate. I'm making the assumption that's probably Smith's there inside a pit. Nathan's on the quick rotate, and Existence is inside the site. So we take a look here over for Team Dynamic. They're going to be heading over here towards the CT Art side.
And Adren is going to see some action here pretty soon. Pix gets taken out by Existence, who was boosted up on the tree once again in B. Adren takes out Smiths. There's still a guy in Big Pit. We'll see if anyone from Dynamic can connect, and that would be Swag.
Swag able to take out.
Team kills Kiko, though, and he's down to a 2-on-3.
As now it's going to be down to a 2-on-2. Nathan able to take shut down AZK. We're sitting with Adren and Swag, but we saw what Swag was able to do in his 2v2. As right now you've got see if Existence can kind of be able to push in here inside the site. We're on board here with Swag. Swag taking a look. He's going to have to worry about one wrapping around. Able to headshot one. Now it's going to be left up to Adren. Adren's been struggling throughout the game, and he's still not able to commit there and gets dropped by Nathan. And the defuse comes in here for Verygames. 9-3. He's sitting at 2-12. He has died every single round, and then he needs his teammates. It's definitely a tough game coming in here for Adren, as right now you can see that they will be on the bye here. They've got all AKs, full armor coming in here for Team Dynamic, and Verygames sitting pretty here against the Americans.
And that was a tough loss against Dynamic. They had a 4v2 before Adren's grenade killed Kiko, and then I believe it was NBK who managed to take out one of the players in the bomb site, evening out a 2v2. And those are just the kind of rounds that Dynamic simply can't afford to lose. When you're playing against a team like Verygames, you can't win the rounds where you go up in numbers that are favored towards you. You have to win those rounds and then some, not the other way around.
As you can see, you've got Smiths that's over right around this corner there. We've got 2 members watching the same exact side right now. And peeks out, nice headshot coming in there by Adren, finally making things happen, able to take down Kenny S. As they're going to start to be able to push over here towards that side. They still think that CT Arch side of mid it was clear, but Smith's able to drop AZK. And now as we switch back over, see what's happening here inside the site. A lot of action coming in here. RPK starting to play a little bit more aggressive, able to take down one. Finally getting dropped by Adren. Now it's going to be down to a 2-on-2. Pex all by himself with 2 HP here against Existence and Smiths. As we'll go and see exactly where he's at right now. Still pushing up here inside of mid. I don't know if the Verygames knows that they have the bomb down over there towards the CTRs, but right now being flanked is going to be Pex as he backs up here, and he's going to get caught, and he slides through there just in time as Smith had the chance to be able to pop him. He's going to wrap back around over here towards that banana side. Let's go and see what Existence has. He has a perfect little angle here, and see if he might be able to take him out there. As you can see, he's going to get dropped there by Existence, and Pex goes down 10-3. We were tied up at 3. That's 7 consecutive rounds in a row here for Verygames.
Yeah, and Dynamic are just letting this game slip away. They got the pick the previous round. They were favorites to win the round. They got the pick this past round as well. But then AZK started walking up middle all by himself as his teammates started rotating towards B. And as soon as he was taken out, Verygames were just wise to what they were doing, and they could no longer execute that strat. So I think they need to be a little more careful after getting the early pick and maybe just wolfpack it a little more in those situations.
That's exactly what it looks like right now. They're playing extremely aggressive. We're still only 15 seconds here into the round. They're already starting to be able to push up there. Firebombs coming out there for Verygames. Pushing back around, that forces Pex into a tough spot as he gets dropped there by RPK. Kiko and Adren kicking things off here for Team Dynamic, as now it's going to be down to a 3-on-2, but this time, can they hold it down? It's left up to Adren, AZK, and Kiko, as Existence and Smith are right there. It looks like they're going to try to sandwich down here on this bomb site. Working both sides as the bomb is going to continue to tick away here. And just up on top. Nice headshot coming in there by Smith. As let's go and switch back over here to Existence as he's going to start to be able to push in here side to side. Trying to make things happen. Now it's going to be down to a 1-on-2. Bomb still ticking away. Kiko just has to stay alive long enough. As Kiko back inside of the pit area. Trying to play a game of Ring Around the Rosie. Coming up over the top is going to be Existence. Perfect gameplay there. Will it be enough time there? And that's going to be perfect amount of time. And Existence also goes down. But again, it's a little too late. They needed to have these types of rounds earlier here in the game, as the score is 10-4 here in favor of Verygames.
That was a very smart play by Kiko there, how he ran out the clock towards the end instead of peeking. It was very, very good play by such a young player. I do have to comment on Adren's peeking a little bit. That was a little questionable. Had he been hiding in the site, there would have been, or in the big pit rather, there would have been no way they could have potentially lost that round. But he wanted to go for that extra shot, and that's what often happens. Someone's posted out for you, and you almost lose.
Look out for right now. You've got, they've already decided to be able to push up here inside of mid. We're going to hop on board here with Existence. They've got 2 that are now stuck on top of ramp, but this might work for Team Dynamic as they have already set back there on their heels right now and just firing away as AZK picks up 2 with the Galil. We're on board here with Kenny who has an op in hand. He had to fall back. Nathan is actually now regrouping, moving all the way over from the banana side. As again, we're down to a 2-on-4, but you can't count out Verygames because Team Dynamic has given them opportunities. Nathan able to take out 1, but he doesn't get exchanged, and there's a nice little exchange going on between Kenny and Pax. And the score is going to be 10-5 is going to be your first half score here in favor of Verygames. Again, Lurppis, score was 3-3 at one point. And it looked as if Team Dynamic just had the idea what they were doing, and they were going to get it back into the game and keep it pretty close at probably an 8-7 score. But 10-5 is going to be the first half score here between these two teams.
The interesting thing is, I think that 4v2 with the TK and where I think it was
Adren.
Adren, who ended up losing that in the end. I believe that was the round that eventually ended up costing them a 7-8 half. I think with that round they could have scored another round without saving so many times. As we're into the second half pistol round here, Kenny is getting dealt some damage with a nade. Both Dynamic and Verygames, very heavy presence in Banana, and we're surely going to see some action as Adren with a 6 shot onto Existence there.
Switch over here, you're going to have a good Adren. He's able to pick up 2 so far. Still alive, he's going to get taken out. Now it's going to be down to RPK and Nathan pushing over here towards the bomb site. They still have 1 member still inside of the site. As we can see, let's go and switch over here to this player. That's going to be Pax, who's inside the site, but RPK did go down by a grenade. So now it's going to be left up to Nathan here in this pistol round. This could be huge. It could really put us back into contention here for Team Dynamic and making it a 10-8 score unless the bomb gets planted, of course.
And right now, NBK is just waiting, hoping for Dynamic to over-rotate so he could pick up a battle against just a single guy later on in the round. Pex finally rotating over to the site. Hopefully he doesn't peek too aggressively and get picked off by NBK here. But NBK playing smartly. But he will have to beat both Pex and Swag as Kiko is holding to make sure he can't fall.
Nice headshot coming in by Nathan. As you can see, this one-on-one battle going on right now, but he's dropped down to 4 HP. But if he gets this bomb down, that is going to be huge for Verygames. So that's a successful round in the end. You were down to a 1-on-3, and you still get the bomb planted inside of the site. It's just, I think it works out better for Verygames in that sense, as the advantage early went to Team Dynamic because of Adren picking up those 2 first frags. But now the score is going to be 10-6. Team Dynamic taking this pistol round. But again, I have to give Verygames a huge applause here for getting the bomb down. That's a big part of what's going to happen here in the second half.
Yeah, and it looks like Verygames are fully saving, it seems like.
Smart move.
So they should be able to buy fully next round.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that was
Existence is actually, I'm going to see exactly what he has. He's got...
No, that was a blade buy.
He's
they
got
all
full
bought out.
armor. That's a questionable call in a sense that when you spend that much time thinking about what you want to do and you buy right at the end, I think even the freeze time was over.
Oddly enough, Kenny S didn't spend all of his money, if we take a quick look at Tab. So I'm not sure, maybe he didn't have time to buy because the call was so late.
We'll see exactly what he has. He has a P250. He doesn't have armor. He does have a full nade set. As the rest of his teammates have armor, Nathan only having Kevlar on. But let's go ahead and take a look and see what the setup is. They're actually going to be heading over here towards this A bomb site. Swag and Kiko have a very typical setup here inside of the site. Both playing inside of the bomb site, working together with those P90s. Bullets will be raining in here in just a moment, but they got to be able to worry about their flank right now as they're pushing back around here towards both sides and sandwiching down. There goes Kiko. Swag goes down. A great flank on the other side as they're going to try to be able to get this bomb plant. It's going to hop on board here with RPK stuck inside the site. It's going to be down to this 3-on-3, but the matter is they both have P90s and a Galil here in the hands of Nathan. As it's going to be down to a 3-on-3. Nice flash coming in there. RPK is going to have to reset. Let's go and get this bomb planted. But you've got 2 inside the site. Nathan able to take down 1. Here comes Adren trying to make something happen. He's going to get taken out. It's going to be left up to Pex, who has a FAMAS in hand, and he's being fired upon here by Verygames. Again, it's going to be down to this 2-on-1. 1 inside of the site, wrapping back around, trying to make something happen. He is right behind him right now. Turning is going to get taken out there by Nathan from the pit. 11-6, a questionable call. They're buying that late, but it works out for Verygames. 11-6, now in favor of Verygames here over Team Dynamic, and you know what that means. It is reset Team Dynamic in this economy.
And I'm not actually sure what, I believe it was Adren who placed the CT spawn side of middle for Dynamic there. I'm not sure what he was exactly doing, because obviously his teammates weren't even aware that Verygames was just wrapping them, as Swag get killed in the back without even having to turn around to look at the CT spawn side. So he could have been blind by Verygames' flashes, but they should have at least had better communications to let his teammates know that they're vulnerable to being flanked.
We've got 4 right here inside of that B-bomb site. 2 playing aggressive. That smoke's going to pop out. Let's go and try to see if we can hop into the action over there. As right now, you got Kenny S, who's going to work here with that P250, what he saved in the previous round. Or probably bought again. I take that back. As decides to go ahead and utilize it again. Nice AK headshot coming in there by RPK. Now it's going to be left up to Swag, who's still alive there. It's going to be a complete save coming in there. As you can see, he's got that P2000, no armor. And pushing back around, spraying away with that P2000. Very difficult pistol to work with. Causes very little damage. You may have 13 bullets in that clip, but at the same token, it's just not enough. And he's going to get taken out there by Kenny S. And so now the score is going to be 12-6, 6-round lead here in favor of Verygames.
Still not a lot of money for Dynamic, so they are probably going to save again to make sure they can get their ops going in. 13-6 is just a very big deficit to come back from.
We'll have to see exactly whether or not this CT side can start to come into play here on the gun games.
And Swag apparently has gone for a Mag 7 buy because he had a little more money, so Dynamic still not giving up on these save rounds. They're definitely going to do something here to try to win this round. They have 4 people stacked over to the other side, while Swag will be looking for an entry kill in the banana.
And he's going to be playing tight over there. Over there towards the banana side, you've got P250 in the hands of AZK, as well as Pex. Let's go and take a look here at the charge right now. Got one right around the corner. Chasing is going to be AZK, but he's completely blind. And Adren exchanges, though. That works out a little bit better for your 4-team Dynamic.
And now it looks like Verygames is rotating towards the B side. We'll see if Swag can pick up a kill here.
As they're going to be pushing up here in just a moment. Coming up here and see if Swag can be able to hold his own. Pushes out. He's going to be blind now, but still going to work with that Mag 7, able to headshot one. It does cause some damage, allows his teammates to know that they're over there towards that side to see if we've got Pex who's rotating, as well as it looks at this. You got Adrin who actually has that Mag 7 right now pushing inside the site. It's got such long range for a shotgun. He's going to get dropped down to 36 HP after those nades are going to be raining in. As it's going to be down to this 3-on-2 right now. See Adrin backing up here. Kiko is going to hold on to this Galil in the next round. So we'll just hold on board here with Adrin, who's going to be rotating back around. Hey, able to take down one. That's going to be a nice little kill coming in there for Adrin. And that's going to take that weapon out of the hands of RPK. Bomb's going to explode as we see Verygames now leading 13-6. 3 rounds away from game point. And again, Team Dynamic just struggling here in this matchup against Verygames.
They've been fairly close, I would say, but once again, it's kind of similar to what happened with Hawks yesterday. Only Dynamic haven't won as many gun rounds, but you know they're close. But then a small mistake ends up costing them big rounds that force them to save, and then make such a big difference in rounds. I mean, even that save round.
Look at this. It looks like they're going to get a little bit more greedy here. They've got 3 guys that are over here towards that B bomb site, anticipating something, but both of them back out of there at the exact same time. That's AZK and Pex. They're going to be rotating right now over there towards the other bomb site. Let's just go and take a look and see if there's any reason why they made that call. No, it looks like right now they've got just these members over here. They have one smoke that may have initiated that call, but nothing that is too drastic. But you can see AZK and Swag moving back over here, and Kiko holding inside a pit right underneath that balcony. Actually, it may actually be on top of the balcony.
So Dynamic 4 players defending the A bomb site while Pex is aggressively pushed up by the car in Banana all by himself.
That's good. That's a good spot to be in. You can see right through. It's difficult to see back in the other manner, but he can also make an early call if need be.
Right now, Adren spots the Verygames players who are just about to hit the wrap side. We'll see what Adren and Swag, who are defending the side of the map, can do.
This is going to work out here for Verygames as they're wrapping back around over here towards the other side. Nathan able to pick up one, able to drop AZK. So Pex is in a very tough spot, and he gets dropped there by Smith. And this round right now is looking pretty here for Verygames. You can see right now you've got Kiko, who's already, looks like he may be on a save, as Swag is backing out of there as well. And Adrin is holding over there towards the CT arches. They're going to let this round go, as there's no purpose in trying to win this one now. Trying to retake that B bomb site with 5 players alive, and one of which being Kenny S. There with that AWP. As you see, all 5 players here. You got Nathan watching over there towards Banana, and then they're going to go ahead and start to clear things out. You can see how early they're starting to separate and trying to clear things out. You've got Kiko, who's inside of the bedroom, and also Swag, who's right there close to him inside of the apartments, and we have Adrin inside of the pit. Now, right now, I don't know if there's, it looks like they're actually not going to get there in time to see them. So Verygames will pick up this round. Score is now going to be 14-6. That's a huge round. So we take a look here at the current money and see where everything is. It looks like Kiko can actually buy a weapon for their teammates. Adrin can do the same if need be.
But it is looking tough for Dynamic, though. Even though they will be able to afford to buy this round, they will need to win 10
calling
straight
for a
rounds.
pause here.
Oh, and that's terrible luck for their team. It looks like Adren crashed.
Wow. So right now you've got Adrin, who's sitting out of the game here. We'll see if he can be able to hop back in here. 14-6. As we take a look at the scoreboard and see where everything sits, you've got Nathan sitting at 22-11 throughout this game. 20 rounds into this, he has 22 frags. And you've got RPK sitting at 18-11, 15 for both Smiths and Existence, and then 14 kills for Kenny S.
And so far, no one from Dynamic really sticking out, and that's always a bad sign. Always need a player just kind of playing above his normal level when you're playing against a team that you would consider better than your team. You need someone to make that difference and give your team a chance. And so far, Dynamic just haven't had those individual performances in this game, and that's what's really separating them. If we would have had a couple big rounds by Dynamic players that we haven't really seen so far, maybe they could have kept it closer. But you know what? Verygames so far just have been a way better team in this game.
Honestly, what I think it goes back to is that one round where Adren ended up nading his teammate in that 4v2 that really flipped the script entirely. They had the chance where they can continue to pick up rounds. They were actually looking very, very good, especially off of the first gun round, and then picking up numerous frags to follow that. They had multiple members that were staying alive, and then after that nade, was down to, again, a 4v2. He nades his teammate, then following after that, Nathan was able to pick up one, which made it a 2-on-2, and the last two members there for Team Dynamic were in tough spots. Those are the types of positions that you want to be in the 4v2s, but whenever it comes down to a 2v2, you definitely don't want to have something like that. So it looks like we have Adren back into the game.
With just $800, by the way. So he won't have money to buy now after that crash. So that's another big blow for Dynamic.
And actually, you've got, he's able to hop in here. Now he has a kit and also an M4, and Pex has just P2000. P2000. And so this is really throwing everything for a loop because Adren had money.
Well, it looks like it's not going to make much of a difference because he gets taken out by RPK, followed by a pair of kills from Kenny S and NVK, and it looks like Verygames is just going to force game point here just in any second.
Peck's going to go ahead and chase after this kill. I'm kind of...
And Dynamic already trying to save their weapons. Or their weapon. I don't think Pex has picked up one yet, if I'm not mistaken.
Pex has an M4 in his back pocket, and we also have an M4 there for AZK. Again, I'm still kind of questioning the fact that, again, Adren, before that crash, he had, I believe, 4 to 5K to work with there, which he could have bought for a teammate, and they would have all had armor. All of them would have had weapons. So coming into the game with $800 is kind of... I mean, in this day and age, we have the technology, if you will, to reset everything.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think it made any difference that round. He had full equipment because of Pex donating his gun to Adren,
but he didn't have armor though. At the same token,
I thought it was Pex who didn't have anything.
Pex had armor, but Adren didn't have armor.
Because Adren had $800 left still at the end of the round.
But he didn't buy armor.
Well, then that's his fault. If you have money and you don't buy armor with it, then that's not the tournament organizer's fault. That's your own fault. But regardless, I mean, Dynamic just aren't matching up to Verygames so far in this series.
I agree with that entirely. The fact that they're not matching up here, because Verygames has had a lot of control. As right now you can see that US Swag, who picks up one there with the M4, he's going to get taken down there quickly by Existence. And now it's going to be down to a 3-on-4.
Existence missing some shots there. Over to, I believe.
Now it's going to be down to a 3-on-3. Nice little firebomb coming in there. And so we take a look, see where they're heading right now. Again, I assumed quickly that there wasn't much action happening again as they're going to start to move over there. But they're slowing down a little bit. AZK able to take out Smiths. And they realize, you can see that they're going to be rotating over here towards this other bomb site. It's going to be down to Kenny S and RPK. Bomb will get planted here inside of that B bomb site. But we've got Kenny S who has this op in hand. Nice little smoke coming out there. Switchbacking over to RPK. He's playing a little bit more aggressive here. Just on the other corner here. He actually is now sprayed with that AK. They know he's there, but he's still not getting any of the attention he deserves as RPK takes out one. Kenny has another one. Again, Verygames just having so much control over this game. And there comes another kill. The bomb's going to go ahead and take away. As you can see, he's drawing in here and he's going to get taken out by RPK. That's enough to sit there and say that that's how that whole entire game went. As Verygames takes the first game 16-6 against Team Dynamic.
And that actually, that very last 2v3 situation was a decent way to sum up the game. It's always looks quite close, but then it never really is. And Verygames always seems to be one step ahead of Dynamic so far in the series. And it's even frustrating as a spectator because it promises to be such a good game. Dynamic looks to have all the talent, everything that it needs to just make it a close game, possibly make it a 3-game series, but then when it most matters, they always come up short.
All of those different types of, all the number situations where they had the advantage, in the end, they still couldn't come out. Again, this is a best of 3 here in the quarterfinals. And so let's go ahead and take a look here at what happened during that game as we set up for map number 2 here between Verygames and Team Dynamic here on Inferno. Let's go ahead and take another look. You see, this is what happened during the third round. This is, again, just another save round coming in there, where you had Kenny S, who picked up 3, and RPK picking up 1. Now, this is in that fourth, with the actual gun round here with AZK. AZK missed that shot, which allowed his teammate to get picked up, but he does follow later on to be able to pick up that third kill inside the site. Again, AZK playing extremely strong early in the game, but then after that, it was 3-3. You can see this is where Existence was boosted up. We also saw Kenny S at one point was boosted up. Let's go and see exactly. He actually barely saw a glimpse of him. He was completely blind at one point, and that's actually where I believe it was a Dren who slid through, and then that's where he finally turned on him and was able to take him out. So it's a good spot.
It's an overpowered. I really think that spot is not going to be allowed a couple months down the line. Because just based on seeing how effectively Verygames used it, I think it's one of those things that just needs to go. As we see the spam frag by AZK
Oh, that was
here.
so beautiful. He knew that he caught a glimpse of him, and he just went ahead and made that shot. That's just the awareness from AZK with that op. And again, there's a lot of individual rounds by Team Dynamic throughout this game, but each one of them just did not pan out in the end. You see how right now you've got Swag who's trying to work something out here.
It looks like this is actually the round that we talked about that Dynamic gave away that could have made the game very different. Looks like that 2v2 where Edren is going to miss that shot onto the second guy, who I believe is NBK.
And right there you can see how it works out in the end, getting that bomb defused. And that's how everything that's basically the story of what happened throughout this game. Team Dynamic, they had the numbers advantage. They had the players to be able to pick up these rounds. They had 4v2s, they had 3v2s. But in the end, they just could not make things happen where they needed to. And just giving a lot of credit to Verygames, though. They were the ones that really kind of dismantled Team Dynamic throughout this matchup and taking it 16-6.
That they did indeed. Now, obviously, we got a new map starting just any minute now. It's going to be Train. And we'll see if Dynamics Oppers can do some more damage there.
Well, now we probably will get an instance where we'll see a Dren opping as well.
And I think what's always also going to be important for Dynamic here on the second map is that they need to not only win the pistol, but also the save rounds to build up their money. As we talked about, they are a team that relies on their 2 very good oppers quite a bit. And in this game, even though they won the CT side pistol round, they weren't really able to use that much to their advantage because they ended up losing the second round, where Verygames spot at the very last second.
And getting you a quick update of what's going on here between Lemon Dogs and Absolute Legends as we continue to look at the highlights from this matchup. Lemon Dogs right now leading 15-9 here over Absolute Legends. So they're sitting at game point.
On the first map, that is Inferno.
Yeah, on Inferno. So as I'm just kind of taking a look here and seeing how this one's going to end up. Just at the scoreboard for those of you at home that are kind of questioning, Twist is sitting at 26-15. As we'll go and take a look here just for a moment. We won't stay in here for too long, but you can see right now you've got Twist sitting at 26-15, Spitfire at 21-15 throughout this game. Same exact first half score too. It was 11-4 in the first half. And right now you can see it looks like Lemon Dogs were on a save round for this one. But we'll see.
Still getting to be a close round here.
Looks like it may have been the exact same type thing here. This nice little firebomb was lofted in there. And they still make an effort at almost picking up the round, but that's going to force Lodato to be stuck inside of the site. And actually all members get taken out there by that bomb. So they're sitting at a 15-10 score. We'll kind of try to keep you updated throughout this game, but we'll go ahead and hop out here. And we'll get back into the other matchup again. We've got Verygames in Team Dynamic. If Lemon Dogs and Absolute Legends goes into a third map, or if the other match between Verygames ends quickly, then we'll make sure that we hop over into that matchup between Absolute Legends in Lemon Dogs. Again, Lemon Dogs currently leading 15-10 in that matchup over Absolute Legends, and they definitely have that. They have one of the most well-known players in terms of, well, one of the players being Snil, which I'm a big fan of, especially with his FAMAS in 1.6. Actually, while we have this time, as they do have a break here in this matchup, I'm okay with going back into this other game to see how this one pans out. So let's go ahead and go back over there. I apologize for hopping out. Just wanted to make sure that we didn't miss the pistol round for that game. As I'm going to go ahead and switch back over here. Give us 1 second. And now we're back into the game here. Let's go ahead and hop back and we see already Lemon Dogs. Now the score is going to be 15-11. As we kind of give you a quick little rundown of what's going on for Lemon Dogs. On the other side, we've got Snil, who's sitting at 19-19, which is actually not that bad whenever you think in terms of that they were losing multiple rounds. And so he's finally evened up his KDR at 1-1.
And we'll see if Absolute Legends might be able to stage a little comeback here and bring this match into overtime. Obviously, this is a big match not only for its value in this tournament, but to determine just where these teams stand in Sweden.
One of the things to also look at too here in this matchup, these two teams did face off, and I believe that their matchup between these two, well, actually they haven't had the chance to play against each other. I was trying to think about it because I believe in the beginning, Absolute Legends had a tie in their first game.
They tied to Nexus in the very first game.
As right now you can see they're going to be heading up here towards mid. Let's go and take a look here and see what we've got. There looks like they're going to actually commit over here towards the same side. They've got 3 members going to have a 3-on-2, but Twist is still alive over there. Let's go and try to hop on board with him. He actually gets taken out as I was trying to switch over. And they're going to start to be able to rotate back over there. Spitfire inside of the site. He's going to be stuck. His teammates are rotating in. And quickly wrapping around is going to be RDL. RDL picking up a nice frag, but so much damage has been caused here to Absolute Legends as they're going to continue to push in there. You can see they're going to go and bounce out of there as a rotation has happened by Lemon Dogs. They've got all 3 members that are over there towards that site, and I would say it's a quicker rotate for Lemon Dogs, but look at this. They are still holding inside the site, thinking as if they're there, but there's been 0 gunfire that's happened. And now they're going to start to rotate, and this works out. You can great plant coming in here by Snil, which actually forces him further out. And to see, you've got Ladano low on HP, 9 HP. You've got 10 HP right here. You can see Pronax boosted up. Let's see if he might be able to pick up a kill here.
He's playing an interesting spot for sure.
And it's going to be a tough spot to be able to bounce out. He does stay alive here. So we switch back on the X-rays. You can take a look here. Berg pushing inside the site. Snil with a nice shot. And look at this. It's left up the site. Even though they had low HP for Absolute Legends, it's very difficult whenever you rotate from one site to then end up having to go back to your site and just kind of continue. Having to retake your own bomb site is one of those tough situations because you practice so much retaking the other bomb site. You know how to maneuver. You know your angles that you want to take to get into that bomb site. But whenever you're having to retake your own bomb site, it's a little bit more difficult because usually you're the one that's positioned inside the site and making those types of shots.
And of course, they also spent probably all of their grenades already retaking B. So by the time they came back to A, there was nothing left for them to use to try to help them take over the site.
Again, we're currently waiting for Verygames and Team Dynamic to start up again. We'll probably switch here after this round. But Absolute Legends is going to work here against Lemon Dogs. Let's go ahead and, if you can here, hop into the other game, see where we're at right now. Currently, we've got 15-12 here in favor of Absolute Legends. I apologize, over Lemon Dogs here, over Absolute Legends. And as we're taking a look and seeing whether or not Verygames and Team Dynamic are ready to go here. So I'll go ahead and switch out as well.
Yeah, it looks like all 10 players are now in the game, so this will probably get going in just a minute. I'm not sure how it actually works in a best of 3. Do they do a new knife round for every map? Looks like that way.
Looks like we're about to have another knife round.